Hello everyone, welcome to my teaching learn. Today I'll be teaching you all how to use the histogram tool on Lightroom. To start off, a histogram is a graphical representation of the tonal range, which basically is the brightness values of an image pixels and how many pixels are in each value. The histogram helps us know the range of tones captured in the photo. It also helps us see whether any details were lost due to over or under exposure. The histogram displays the current RGB value of the pixel in percentages. So as you can tell, as I scroll through this picture, or as I roam around, you can see on my top right, it says RGB. And what that stands for is red, green, and blue channels. Now, when I get off the picture, at the bottom of the histogram, it displays the camera settings. The left part of the histogram represents the blacks, the darkest parts of the images. As you can tell, as I move the blacks more to the left, they get a lot darker. We know they get darker because of these clippings. Clipping occurs when some or all pixels are pure black or pure white even, and have no detail. See, as you can tell, as I go over the fully blacks, it's 0.0. There's no detail. There's no color. The next panel is shadows. The shadows are also represented with the blacks, but show a nice contrast when moving right or left. Down here, you can tell that as I move here, it also moves, it slides down there. So what I want with this image is something a little more clear and something that lights up the goose here, my subject, where I can see more detail in his face, on their faces. So I'll fix the clippings by doing less of the blacks. I add more shadow so you can really see the texture. The middle part is basically the midtones. It allows you to adjust what kind of exposure it has on the picture. Say if I go all the way to the left, it goes way dark. And if I go all the way to the right, it turns really, really, really bright. What we're looking for is something balanced here. So you should mess around with it. It's something that looks good to you. That looks good. The last panels are the highlights and the whites, which represent the brightest parts of the image. As I move the highlights more to the right, you can see that it really brings out the whites. When I bring it down, it makes it darker. What we're looking here is something balanced, like I said before. So move around, nothing too bright, nothing too dark. I'll leave it at there. Here are another type of clippings. These clippings occur when an image is too white, or as you can tell, as I move in, it's 99.9% RGB. To fix this, we're gonna have to move our whites. Each image depends on what artistic view you want for your image. Say if you want something more exposed or less exposed, your histogram will always look different. But usually it's better to keep it balanced. Clippings can also be shown here with the arrows, and they can be hidden or shown. For example, if I go on my blacks over here, you'll definitely see all the clippings. If I click it off, it'll hide them. But to ensure you're having a good quality picture, you click it and then you move the blacks to see what fits for the picture. You'll want to avoid moving the histogram too much to the right or too much to the left because it can cause these sort of clippings. Squeezing the histogram in can always make an image a lot softer. So if I were to squeeze the image all the way in, you can see it sort of gives the image a soft effect, or way softer effect. In comparison, this is what it looked like before. It sort of looked like an art piece or a painting right here. When cropping a light background, there will be less highlight pixels. For example, if I were to crop this and cut out the background, you can see there's a lot more blacks and less whites. It gravitates more to the shadows rather than the highlights and the whites. Now to the extreme, you can see if we zoomed in, we cropped it at its head. You can see it's mostly black, and all the shadows would be spiked up. Now, for example, we moved it somewhere, say, lighter. The whites would definitely be spiked up in the highlights. It just depends on how much lighting or the different color variations that your image has. As I fix my image and check for clippings, we do a comparison to my original, and you can see it's something a little more clear with more detail. Something that I really wanted, and that's a histogram tool for you. Thank you.